Hey, new guide. We're doing Untitled. I just beat it like an hour ago. Really enjoyable level. I had an even better time with it than I even expected at the start. And it's a Japanese click sync level, so you know full well I'd meet right it. So yeah, really good shit. Yeah, difficulty wise, it's probably about Aftermath. The gameplay kind of reminds me a lot of the first half of Moment, in terms of like the balancing and whatnot. Like wave parts are like the hardest parts are the wave parts, and it's like pretty fast paced, a lot of speed changes. That's kind of as far as the similarities go, but still that's more similar than most other levels. But it's still very unique. It just overall really unique level. Anyway, I'll shut the fuck up. I'll actually start talking. So, the beginning of this level is pretty free, especially compared to the drop onwards. A lot of this, like the cube and UFO parts, are literally just click sync, like not too much more detail. Some clicks have early and late timings, but like this beginning bit, like these are all just click to the music. This click, sometimes if you click too early, you'll still be a mini. But really, it's not hard to just click slightly later. There's no penalty for clicking this comically late. And even then, just click it like a few frames after the earliest point you can click the orb and you'll be fine. This pink orb, nothing special about it. These orbs you just kind of click. And again, just click to the music pretty much until the end of this section. Honestly, the first click that's like you actually, other than that yellow orb with the size change in it, that you actually need to think about is this blue orb. You have to click it like slightly late, as in you just can't buffer it. Anything else, you'll be fine. Really not too bad. Here you hold off of this blue orb. Don't hit this pink orb. I mean, it's kind of obvious, but I thought I'd point it out anyway. This blue orb you can just kind of buffer. It will teleport. There's a teleporter in there to make sure that you don't hit the blue orb and then miss the blue jump pad auto section. This level does that a lot, where there's a lot of teleporters to correct you if you click something too low or too high up, which is really nice. Yeah, this is kind of where the difficulty starts to ramp up. Before the part even transitions and the screen's still black, you kind of have to start clicking here, because obviously the ship part comes up like really quickly. You don't have that much time to just react to it. The way you do this is just 2 clicks sync to the music. A lot of this level, again, is just complete music sync. Same with this ship part, but you do have to click. I found that you had to click it slightly earlier. Just the idea is that you're buffering into the ship section, so you start going up as soon as you can. But if you click too early, I would let go before you even get to the ship portal, which sounds stupid as hell, but the screen fades from black, so you can't see anything. But yeah, this part is kind of the hardest part of this section, I'd say, up until the first wave, but it's still not too hard, and it's just something you have to kind of get used to. This UFO section is free. Here you just click to the music. You don't need, I know it's a robot, you don't have to like hold any specific amount of time, just click normally. Now this ball part is kind of interesting. You want to click through these first 5 clicks pretty much as fast as you can. Obviously don't just spam, because you don't have control, and you obviously can go too early, I'm pretty sure. That never happened to me because I never spammed, but I'm pretty sure if you click too early, you'll die to something. The first click that you actually have to think about is this blue orb. If you like buffer this or click it too early, which is another reason you can't like just spam through this, you won't make it to this platform. So you have to kind of hit it like towards the middle, but it's not that much of timing. Like I said towards the middle, but you see I did not do that whatsoever, and I was still fine. You see I barely made it to this platform, but that's good enough. For a lot of the sections, you want to kind of hit as early as you're comfortable with, So, because as you're going through the part, your ball will slowly like move towards closer to the end of these platforms, if that makes sense, because they're so close together. Like, you see there, I barely made it in time because it's just so quick. You can pretty much buffer that pink orb, and this click, the way you die to it sometimes is by hitting the black orb before you reach the cube portal. It's really easy to avoid that. Just hit it after you change into a cube by hitting it slightly late. The only reason I point that out is because it's like 12%. This is pretty much the point of the level where you're still on autopilot, so you'll die to this sometimes just because you're not paying attention, or you won't because you have a normal fucking attention span. But yeah. This ship you hold into, you only click once and then hold up here. It's pretty lenient. You don't need to like adjust at all. Just hold, and then you have to let go obviously before reaching this portal, or else you'll die to the spike. But it's not that tight. Just hit that. There's no real timing involved. Again, no real timing with this UFO section. Again, as you saw, there's teleportals in there to adjust for you if you end up being too high. Yeah, this green orb, like you can kind of see it. Look, it's a bit further away than this string of portals, and you do have to click this slightly later. It's kind of awkward to like first do because the music is just completely rhythmically consistent. So it's kind of weird how this click is a bit further out and you have to click a bit later. But once you get used to it and you figure out the click pattern, it makes sense. Yeah, that click is pretty, there's no real problem with it. This is just kind of a consistency wave. There's nothing that I can really like, there's no tricks that I have for this. It's not that part of the part. Just click 4 times, including this pink orb, and you'll be fine. I'm pretty sure that you can do it where you only click 3 times and like hold through and it hits this pink orb for you. I don't like doing that because it's weird and it's kind of inconsistent-ish. I'd say just let go and hit this separately. This wave part is kind of weird because it doesn't sync amazingly, and it's kind of awkward to figure out, but once you get it, it's kind of free. And I should have mentioned this at the beginning, I forgot. But one thing that really helped me figuring out, not this click specifically, but other parts later in the level, like certain click patterns that are a bit less obvious, is Tech's video, where he beat the level. He has clicks, and I like the way he approached 90% of the parts in this level. Like, I wouldn't know how to do something, so I look at his video. He has pretty clear clicks. The only issue is that he's in a fucking, like, crazy conversation with 2,000 people talking about apples or some shit.
No, wait. You can sell the apple for $1 trillion. Why else would they be asking you to eat $1 trillion? The apple's worth $1 trillion.
So you have to listen through that, but his clicks are still pretty clear. So yeah, that's a good resource you can use. I should have mentioned that at the very beginning of the video, but I forgot. So yeah, mentioning it here. Again, anyway, what you want to do is do one small click here, and then hold all the way through here like this. Yeah, this click isn't like, it doesn't have to be like crazy specific. Like, just don't hold it too long that you hit this fucking spike somehow, then you'll be fine. This green orb you do have to hit on the early side, because if you hit it too late, you'll die to the ground spikes. It's a bit annoying, but it's really consistent, and after you learn it, it's never a problem again. So yeah, this black orb's pretty free. This green orb comes at you a lot faster than you expect. Like, looking at this with it paused, it's actually really fucking close to the yellow orb. So you do have to hit that pretty fast. A lot of the time, if I die to it, you'll just hit the cog. Then it's like, fuck you. But, and it's not the worst thing ever. This pink orb is pretty close to the black orb, but it's not that hard. It's a pretty quick click, pretty fast, but that's kind of, a lot of parts in the level are like that, so this is nothing that special. This part's kind of weird, where if you hit this yellow orb too low down, like below like halfway down the orb, you die to the side of this platform. It's kind of strange how they didn't just put a teleporter there, because, again, there's a lot of parts in this level that use that. But yeah, the way to avoid that is obviously just hitting this orb towards the top. I wouldn't say, like, try to hit it super late, just don't hit it early. I know that's the same fucking thing, but the difference is, like, don't intentionally, like, wait to the last second to hit this orb. Like, if you do it, like, towards the middle, you'll be fine. And a lot of it also kind of comes down to how you hit this orb, where if you hit it too late, then this click, it would be even more awkward to hit it on the top portion of it. So it just kind of hit these orbs in a way that works. Just kind of practice it. Obviously, you're going to be practicing the level, duh. But yeah, you see I hit it like towards the top. Anyway, I probably went way too far into these 3 orbs than I had to, but you know, just kind of click there. These 2 orbs, the way you die to this, I never really died here once I figured it out, but what you want to do is just click pretty quickly, pretty early. Don't like click this orb too late, or else you'll die to the spike. Yeah, that seems really obvious, but to me that wasn't like the first 2 times I did this part. But yeah, this ship part you just kind of hold beforehand. A lot of the ship parts are like that, where you just kind of buffer before getting to the ship part and just hold to like an orb or something. Hold after hitting this orb until you're lined up here, and then just start straight flying. I think you can click to the music like in your straight fly. That's probably what I did, but it's not like necessary. You can just kind of straight fly normally until you get to this red orb. Hold this red orb for longer than you think. The way I would die to this dash orb if I did die was I'd hit the red orb and then like let go too early and fall too low down. I wouldn't even die to the spikes. What would happen is I would hit this dash orb too low and die to these. So the way to avoid that is just hold all the way up to the dash orb and then release quickly and click again. It seems more awkward and inconsistent than it actually is. It's actually, if you hold all the way to the dash orb, it actually works pretty much 100% of the time. So yeah. These 2 orbs, no, not really an issue with them. Click both the yellow orbs, and this entire section is pretty much clicking like with a consistent rhythm all the way throughout. There aren't really, I mean, there are clicks that you have to hit early, but if you click consistently, you won't even really have to think about it. Like this green orb, before I got the muscle memory for this part, I'd like click this too late, and I just die to this cog. But yeah, if you just click in a consistent rhythm, you'll be fine. This seems a lot more jank than it actually is. Again, consistent rhythm, you'll do it pretty much 100% of the time. So yeah. This ball section is kind of similar to the spammy ball at the beginning. Again, like, don't just completely spam, but click faster than you intuitively click. Yeah, one way you can die is if you click too fast. Goddamn. If you click too fast, you'll hit the spike. So just wait like a nanosecond here. You can't wait too long because, again, the ball will slowly move forward on each of these platforms because they're so close together. If that makes sense, I can't explain shit for shit, but yeah. That blue orb, I hit it towards the later end. It's not that tight, I don't think, but obviously you can't buffer it, but it's not that bad. This click, if you hit it too late, you'll like barely enter the pink orb's hitbox and like jump normal gravity before flipping gravity. That's only happened to me like twice, but if you click fast enough, that won't be an issue. You have to hit this pink orb like on the later end, kind of obvious. There's a spike there, but just thought I'd point that out. Anyway, you have to click pretty much as fast as you can for these. I mean, it's not that quick, but like if you hit it like slightly too late, you'll hit this orb too late and die to this cog. Yeah, this blue orb, you can't buffer it and you can't hit it like too early or else you'll die to the spike. So just hit it like in the middle and you'll be fine. This black orb, you obviously can't hit it too late because then you'll just die to the ceiling spikes. But if you hit it too early, the spike becomes an issue. So kind of hit it like towards the middle. It's a bit easier said than done because you're going up so quickly from this orb, but it's not like one of the harder parts of the level. It's pretty free. This orb you can't buffer. Just hit it in any way that isn't a buffer and you'll live. So yeah. Short auto section. This orb, I'm pretty sure sometimes you can buffer it, but sometimes if you buffer it, you'll die to this cog. So don't buffer it. It's if you click it like anything that isn't a buffer, you're 100% certain to live. So yeah. Now we get into more. What level gets a lot more wave heavy here. So it's a lot of music sync. Again, a lot of these wave parts, I'm gonna say in advance. The structures aren't super clear. Like this one, you can kind of obviously see you want to like zigzag through here, but some of them there's more like spikes involved, and it's a lot more like open, but not really. That's where Tech's part helped for me a lot to see what he did. Obviously, you have your own free will. You can kind of go through a lot of these parts however you want, but whatever's more consistent for you. But yeah. Again, obviously this part, you kind of do 2 small equal size clicks and then 1 bigger one. With the music, it's pretty intuitive. So yeah. This size click, a lot of these wave parts are gonna have this specific size click. What I mean by that is you're holding for this amount of time. I don't really know how to make that more clear. I'm not that good at talking, but yeah, so kind of just get this size click in your muscle memory, and a lot of this part is uses the same thing. So yeah, hit this orb. This orb's kind of free. This you have to click here on the earlier end because you don't want to hit these orbs, obviously. I only point this out because, like a lot of the times with learning the part, I hit it too late, just because it makes more sense. You want to do this ship only clicking once. I can't imagine it would be easier to like click once here and then readjust over here. That seems awkward and out of sync with the music. So I just click here once, but to do that you do have to hold a bit more than just a normal click. So keep that in mind. It's not, you don't have to hold for very long, and it's not like that tight, but it's just something to keep in mind. Don't just tap there. Now this dual part, it's a bit awkward, kind of weird to figure out, but it becomes really consistent. Basically just hit the yellow orbs. It's a lot easier said than done, because this red orb is really close to this one, and if you hit this red orb, it kills you. So the issue with that is that you can't buffer any of these orbs, and the reason I point that out is if you could, then you could just hit this orb and then hit this orb, and then since it's a dual, you can just hold off of this and hit this immediately, and then this red orb isn't a problem. But the reason you can't do that is because you can't buffer or else you'll die here, so you kind of have to hit all these orbs separately. The way you do that is you pretty much do as small of a micro click as you can, especially this orb, so you don't hit the red orb. Yeah, it's not that hard of a part, but it takes a while to figure out. You just click this yellow orb normally, and then there's no real timing with this red orb. This wave part, what I like to do is just click with the music. This is like an example of where Tech's video helped a lot, because like, what the fuck are you supposed to do here? But I mean, the way Tech did it was the most consistent, I found, so it would have probably taken me a lot longer to come to that click pattern if I didn't just see Tech do it. What him and I did was we clicked 4 times, 3 times as the big wave, and then 1 click here. All the same sized kind of small clicks that I talked about in the beginning with that first wave section. Synced with the music. You don't really have to like adjust to avoid any of these structures. I just kind of click with the music, and it worked for me. If you're a bit weaker in music sync, or you just don't find it consistent, I guess just kind of like look and kind of make adjustments as you go. But yeah, those are my 4 clicks, and then this click is a pretty small click. I was able to just kind of click the same length as I clicked for these clicks, and it works most of the time. I find it so, like, when you're first doing this part, like, in a session, this part is hard, but once you, like, warm up a bit, this part becomes pretty much 90% consistent. So it's one of those things you just have to warm up, and then it's not too much of an issue. Again, I forgot to mention it about these 4 clicks back here, but as you can see, you're kind of going up. I didn't really have to think about, like, manually going up at a slight angle there. It just kind of happened when I clicked. I don't know if I got really lucky and that just was natural to me, or I was doing some subconscious adjustments to make it through there. But yeah, you don't really have to think too hard about that if you're like me, so yeah. Oh yeah, and you click twice here, but the second click is pretty easy. You just click the same amount you click there and you'll make it to this cube every time. Yeah. Oh my god. There was, like, I'm pretty sure, like, I'm recording this, like, on March 15th. Like, there was this fucking cyclone or some shit, like, in the Midwest. So that might be, like, the remnants of that crazy storm coming over here. So, yeah. If you hear crazy winds, that's probably it. Sorry for the shit-ass recording. Yeah. You just kind of click 4 times here. I'm gonna be real, I can't remember if I clicked this green orb and held. I think that's what I did, but, like, honestly, this part was easy enough that I don't even know what I did, so you should be fine. I think I clicked separately because there's an invisible black orb there, so yeah. Whatever works, just do that. This part, you just kind of buffer this green orb. It's not like a tight timing. When learning the part, sometimes I've died here for fuck knows why, but it never happened once I got consistent, so I don't know. If that's more of an issue for you, I'm really sorry, but yeah. This ship, you can't, like, unlike every other ship part in the fucking level, you can't, like, start holding beforehand, or you'll die to this. I mean, I guess you can start holding a little bit, but you can't hold for very long. You just kind of have to, like, fly in and then kind of adjust normally. It's a pretty lenient straight fly, so once you make it in, it's pretty consistent. So yeah. Hold this red orb until you're lined up here, straight fly, and then hit the yellow orb. This wave part is a bit harder than the previous 2, because you couldn't just rely on music sync. It's a bit tighter, so you do have to, like, kind of, okay, am I below this block yet, and then click. But you can't really do that because it's so fast. I don't know. I die here decently regularly. It's kind of weird. What I did was I clicked 3 times, like that. You can do it twice by doing 1 click there and then a bigger click there, but I found that less consistent. So yeah, not like this part was that consistent anyway. A lot of the times you'd either click too slowly, and at the end of the second click you'd die to the spike before you click again, or you click too fast and die that way. So yeah, just kind of try to get this part in your muscle memory as best as you can. That's a lot of these wave parts, just muscle memory, but yeah. There, I did it. This part is pretty straightforward. Just click the blue orb and hold for a while. It's not super tight, so it shouldn't be that much of an issue compared to these 3 clicks, but yeah. This click is like a really tiny micro click. I found it to be even smaller than these. Obviously, if you're like really low here, then you can just, it's not that bad, but if you come down here really high, then you have to click really small. I never, like, consciously thought to, like, let go early here. I feel like that would be even less consistent because you hit this wall, but I found it easier to just click as small as I could there. Click again to hit this green orb. That click isn't nearly as bad. You can just kind of hold off of that. Click twice here. There's no real timing involved, just kind of click as soon as you hit the platforms. This blue orb you can't buffer, but again, it's not that bad of a timing. And this yellow orb you have to click later, or else you'll die to this cog. It's not a bad timing, but it's just something that you do have to think about when you're doing this part. Now this part is, again, another ambiguous wave part. That's crazy. One thing that you can do is, like, click twice here. That's what syncs with the music. That I feel like is more the intended route. But thankfully, whoever made this part, like iiLuna or Convi, I don't know who did this. This was a mega collab, but somebody put invisible D blocks here, so you slide. So, which is really nice, because A, if you do decide to do the stupid 2 clicks here, then you can't die to the floor, and B, you have the option to just fall and then click once here, which is way easier, and what me and Tech did. So, yeah. Just kind of click once. Again, it doesn't sync with the music because I don't think that's, like, intended, but it's still really easy. This click here is really open, and then you have to do 2 clicks here. It's a bit tighter and it's a bit faster, so it's kind of the harder part of this wave section, but still it's pretty open for, like, a hard tier extreme demon. So, yeah. This ship part, again, buffer before hitting the ship portal. You can't hold all the way to this portal or else you'll die here. So just hold a bit and then let go, like around here. And then once you hit this blue portal, you immediately hold again. Only hold until you're in line with this straight fly and then kind of straight fly there. Like the straight fly at the very beginning of the level, I'm pretty sure you can, like, straight fly with click sync. That I probably did that sometimes, but I didn't really think about it. I just kind of straight flied as best as I could. I feel like that's more consistent, but kind of do whatever you want. You have free will. Hit this green orb. There's no real timing to that. This black orb, there is a timing, though. If you can hit it too early, I mean, obviously you can't hit it, like, right here, but even, like, here, you still die to this very bottom spike. So hit it towards the later end. It's not hard, but just something you have to keep in mind and isn't, like, crazy obvious, like sight reading this part. I know you're obviously not sight reading, but you can't be 100% locked in all the time, you know, especially at this part, which is a bit of a break part, kind of a lot easier than the wave spam over there. But yeah, this part with all these orbs is kind of a choose your own adventure. You do have to hit this orb, but here there you have a lot of options. So what I did was I clicked these 2 orbs, and then this orb, just there's like some pad in there or something, and I didn't have to click there. So I clicked these, and then yeah, you saw like the purple pulse there. It just did it automatically. But one thing that you also could do for some reason was hit the yellow orb back there, skip the blue orb, and then hit this orb, because if you skip the blue orb, the pad doesn't work for some reason. I don't know why. It's weird how you have this fucking choose your own adventure part here, but yeah. And then this is another kind of choose your own adventure part. Depending on how you exit this portal, sometimes you don't have to hit this black orb. What would happen and just hit this orb? I found that to be way less consistent, so I didn't do that. But I don't know, if this is too click heavy for you, then probably wait to play this level, because this isn't the fastest CPS part by a lot. But also it would just be a lot. I found it less consistent. So hit this black orb, and then you have to hit this pretty light. I just kind of because you can't. If you hit it too long, there's an invisible platform here, and you'll hold off of that, missing the pink orb, dying to here. So just kind of hit this lightly, and then wait a second, and then hit the pink orb. I just found that more consistent. If you hit too early, I guess you die here. I never died there, so like I don't know what you would die to, but I know you do die if you click that early. So don't do that. This wave part is pretty easy compared to all the other wave parts. You just kind of wait a little bit, and then after you fall down a tiny bit, you just click twice. Or not, but, you know, just click twice here. It's really easy, really open. It's only 2 speed, so yeah. Hit this green orb. I'm pretty sure you do have to hit that. I hit it all the time just to be more consistent. So yeah. Hit this pink orb late. It's not a hard timing. As long as you don't like click it within the first few frames of getting there, you'll live. This yellow orb you can kind of click whenever. This platform, as you just saw, doesn't have a hitbox, so you don't have to worry about that. Kind of jump as soon as you hit this platform, no real timing. Click that again, and then this orb you kind of just can hit. I'm pretty sure you can buffer this one, but I never did just to be safe. Yeah. This wave part, again, it's a lot easier than the other wave parts towards like 26%. You just kind of click 3 times, 3 equal clicks here, even though one of them's mini wave. Yeah. This click, it kind of comes at you quickly, where if you wait too long, you'll become mini wave and immediately fall down here. It's not too much of an issue, just pointing it out. You do have to be kind of alert. I don't see why you wouldn't be like alert at 46%, but I don't know if you're tired or some shit. Yeah. If you hit this yellow orb too late, you'll be like really low down here, and hitting this green orb, you'll have like no chance to hit this green orb fast enough before dying here. So kind of hit this towards the top half. It's kind of hard to like think about that and like consciously do it, because you're going down as a mini wave so fast, so I never really did. I just kind of prayed, and I did think a little bit about hitting that on the earlier end. So yeah. And then these green orbs, you do have to click pretty fast, again, to avoid dying here. Then there's this part, and then you have to click these orbs a bit faster than intuitive. Again, you can pretty much buffer this yellow orb, even though it's kind of hard to do so. I think you can buffer it, don't quote me on that, but yeah. I should probably check these things before recording a fucking 30-minute guide video, but you know. I'm winging it. This orb, there's no real timing, you'll pretty much always make it up here. Buffer this, and then you do have to buffer this black orb. If you hit it too late, you'll miss this pad entirely, and either die to this cog, or hit this green orb with the wrong gravity and still die to that cog. So yeah, buffering that is 100% consistent though. These 2 clicks are free, and this dash orb is pretty much free. This ship part is kind of awkward to figure out. It's consistent, but the way it works is kind of weird. You hit this toggle orb. You're upside down, so that launches you up here, and then you hold through here. You can just hold all the way up to this wave portal. Sometimes, if you hit it too early, or I guess it would be too late. I don't know, if you hit the orb not like in the center of it, you'll sometimes be too far down here. And sometimes if you hit the orb like way too early, it won't even launch you and you'll die here. This part is kind of weird, and I'm not like 100% sure what's going on here. I just hit it like as close to the center of the orb as I could, and that was what was most consistent for me, like that. So yeah. It is really close to the spikes though, so that's not like as free as it looks, but yeah. This wave part is kind of hard to figure out once you learn it. It's decently consistent, but still I died here like 2 or 3 times from 0. The way it works is it's just two kind of small clicks. Again, just the standard like click. It's not, you're going 4 speed, so it's kind of hard to like manage the size of your clicks here. So just kind of click 2 natural size clicks. That's what worked for me at least. Practice this part, and eventually whatever size click you need to do here will feel natural. That's kind of how practicing works. So yeah. This click, it looks like you have to hold for a lot longer than you do, but once you get to this portal, you kind of click like slightly longer than these 2 clicks, and it becomes consistent. This is just a pretty hard click, so even with the right click size in mind, expect to die here a few times. One way you can die is if you're going through here too low, and then once you hit this portal, you pretty much have no chance before hitting this cog. So I guess keep that in mind. It's really rare to be too high up that when you click, you hit here. I only died there once ever from 0 and practice. The way I died was from 0, which kind of sucked, but, you know. But yeah, other than that, that part becomes decently consistent. Yeah. And then, once you get down here, you pretty much click as soon as you touch the cube portal. Yeah. Don't hit the green orb, obviously. Duh. And then for this part, the music is like 5 quick beats or something. But what I did, and was the most consistent by far, was just clicking 3 pretty long clicks here. It's pretty open, the clicks are pretty far apart, you're not like spamming or anything. Yeah, and it became really consistent. These first 2 clicks are super open, like look at this. The second click is a bit tighter, or the third click's a bit tighter, so if you die here, would be the part that you die to. But it's still really, really consistent. This dash orb is pretty easy. You can't hit it too early or too late, but it's still really lenient. Yeah, this part is weird. You have to fall like a lot later than you think, because what happens sometimes, and it's kind of funny, you let go, you slide like down here. There's D blocks obviously, because the creator's nice. You go under the portal, and then you either are still a mini wave here, and you have pretty much no chance to make it to here, or you click under the portal and jump a tiny bit, and then die to the spike. So yeah, if you miss the cube portal, you obviously die every time. There's no recovery from that. So basically release like a lot later than intuitive, really close to this edge here. Yeah. And if you like land in the cube portal correctly, the part's really easy. You just click as soon as possible off of here. Don't like time this click or anything, because you don't have to. Yeah. This UFO part, if you hit this blue orb too early, you die to this spike. So just hit it slightly late. It's not that, it's pretty lenient, so it's fine. This blue orb you pretty much hit whatever. Syncs with the music, you hit here. Yeah, again, this black orb syncs with the music, and the click after also does, so it's pretty easy. It is one way you can die here is clicking this too late. So I guess just click these 2 clicks pretty fast, obviously, and you'll avoid that. And now we get to this wave part. This is probably the hardest part, maybe? Like I said at the beginning, this level's really consistent. I don't even know if I said that or not, but it's really consistent. But there obviously is some variance in difficulty, like the wave parts, and this is probably the hardest one. It starts out pretty easy, just 3 small clicks at a pretty comfortable size, and then you get to the duel. You have to hit this. I mean, the yellow orb serves no fucking purpose because you're a wave, obviously, but you have to click this pretty early, because if you hit it too late, you miss this upside down portal entirely. And yeah, and if you hit it super late, still make this portal, this next part becomes awkward. But yeah, the way you do this duel is kind of just look at the wave on top here, and you did 3 clicks here already, but the 4th click you basically hold twice as long, and yeah, so you hold here, go up here, and then you let go here. It's kind of easier said than done, even though I'm struggling a lot trying to explain this because I can't talk again. But yeah, you can, if you release too late, then you'll try to click here, and it'll be a lot harder of a timing if you're like coming down like here. So kind of try to release as early as you can. That's reasonable. Obviously, don't release too early or you'll die here. Yeah. And that's kind of the transition into it. Once you like get here, it's pretty easy. You just kind of click the same speed and the same duration as before the duel. Just 3 more clicks here. One way you can die is with this ball part. What it's doing is obviously just going up and down. It's a lot easier than the wave, which is why you're looking at that. But if you come too late, you'll click this orb and you'll die here, or you'll completely miss the orb and you'll die. So yeah, it's kind of specific, but once you learn it, it does get surprisingly consistent. So yeah, this UFO part is a lot easier, but still pretty tough, especially for a UFO part. You want to click here. I mean, obviously you can kind of see, click here and then click these 3 portals. If you click too high up, like by clicking too late, you are too low down, and you reach this part like here, and you basically have no chance. Even if you click, you die to the spike. So kind of be as low as you can. What you can see I'm doing here is I click, and then my second click is a lot after this portal. That isn't necessarily intentional, just because this part is fast. It's hard to like click exactly on the portals, but this is actually better because I'm entering this portal even lower than I would be, which gives me a better chance here. So yeah, just kind of click a comfortable speed, and it should be consistent, and just do whatever you can to aim lower here. And this ball is doing whatever the fuck it wants. It's not an issue. This wave part, I click 3 times here. It is a lot harder than you think. This is really open, but if you're too high or too low, you'll die to these cogs, obviously. And if you do your 3 clicks too fast, you'll fall down into this cog instead of reaching the portal. So yeah, it's something you kind of have to learn, and even then, sometimes you'll die there and it'll piss you off. But yeah, this click, it's really early. I mean, it comes at you faster than you expect. You kind of want to buffer this, but buffering is hard because it's going so fast. Yeah. This part is pretty easy. You kind of just... It's pretty much in a glorified auto section almost. One thing you can do is spam like through the entire thing, but that's not consistent, and I'll like kind of explain why for individual clicks. And you also just don't have that much control. Or you can just click each orb, like in only the orbs, which is what I do and what I recommend doing, obviously. The first part is 5 clicks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have to hit this black orb. I mean, obviously it's not a buffer because it's really fast. You can't really choose to buffer any of these. But if you hit it too late, you'll miss this pad entirely. So kind of like intentionally try to hit this orb on the early end. Yeah, in this orb, if you buffer it, you do die because you hit it before hitting the gravity portal. So that one you do have to hit a little bit intentionally late. Another reason you can't spam, obviously, so you could do those timings with more control. Auto for a bit, buffer this green orb, and then hit these 2 orbs. If you buffer this yellow orb, you die. It's not a click that you intentionally hit late or anything. Just kind of hit it, anything other than a buffer, and you'll live. Yeah. And you get to this part, just click here and hold. It's pretty much free. You'll never die to this, pretty much, if you do it right. So yeah, hold until you get to this dash orb, and then hold all the way until you get to the UFO part. This part is just 2 really easy clicks. Nothing special. This UFO part is also easy. Just click on the portals in this orb, and you'll make it 100% of the time. This orb you just click, and then this string of 5 orbs you do have to kind of control a little bit. So if you hit this orb too high up, you'll die up here. So you kind of have to try and hit this orb on the lower end. A lot of that comes from the way you hit these 4 orbs, by kind of hitting these ones late and these ones on the earlier end. Don't like, I keep saying this, don't like manually think about hitting them that early, just kind of keep it in the back of your mind and just kind of do it, if that makes any sense at all. I don't know if I'm explaining my point well at all, but anyway, hit this orb on the later end. Don't hit it too late, because what can sometimes happen is you go down way too low here. There's another teleporter here to correct you if you're too low, but if you hit it like super comically late, you'll die anyway, so don't do that. But it's also, don't hit it too early or else you'll die here, which is the way more common death. this ship part you can just hold all the way up to here. Click these 3 orbs. It's pretty free. And then these 2 orbs you want to click as quickly as possible to line you up well for this wave section. So what you do is you click twice and then hit this dash orb. If you hit that orb too late, I don't even know if this is like an actual thing. It might have been placebo, but sometimes you'll like be way too far to the right here, and even like the tiniest fucking click will kill you to this structure. So yeah, this part is kind of a choke point. I'd argue it's harder than the dual wave ball, but not, again, it's really consistent level, not by that much. Just do 2 kind of micro clicks here. Not really micro clicks, but tiny clicks. Hit this dash orb. This dash orb is pretty easy. I know it's like pretty fast, but I found it really consistent. And then click 3 times here. These clicks are pretty natural, I felt. Looks kind of tight, but it's really not that bad, especially compared to the first 3 clicks in the part. Yeah. Hit this yellow orb, and then this ship part is kind of weird. You want to hold into it just to line yourself up, then straight fly a bit, and then kind of do a sharp curve up to avoid this spike. That's really high up. You can't just hold all the way through. I think it works sometimes, but depending on how you hit the yellow orb all the way back there, you'll die to here sometimes. So I'd say just kind of manually control your ship up here. It is one of the harder parts in the level, and there's not too much of a tip that I can give more than control your ship as best as you can. Try to get as high as you can to avoid the spike, but yeah. I made it through there. Then what you don't want to do is like click too much here and then like hit this orb late. You want to hit this orb on the earlier end so you can like hit these platforms fast enough to not completely miss this one, which is a pretty common way to die here. So don't like click too late here. What you definitely don't do is like hold this ship to like buffer this. I know that seems like it would make it easier because you're hitting this orb as early as possible, but that makes it awkward to hit these 2 clicks since you're not clicking here. So I'd say just hit this orb like manually, then do the part. If that made any sense, I can't talk again. Then this ship part, you just kind of like manually fly through here. Obviously, it is kind of tight-ish, but I found it really consistent, so it's not that bad. And then these 2 orbs you just hit. In this orb, you do have to hit on the later side. If you hit it too early, you die here. It is kind of difficult, but at the same time, it's far from the hardest part in the level. So yeah, I died here once from 0. That was sad, but like it's a middle of the road kind of hard part, so I wasn't too pissed off about it. Yeah, then it's auto until the end. This last cube is pretty kind of awkward. I found it the weirdest part of the level. I liked it the least. It's not bad by any means. It's just a bit more awkward and less consistent than the other parts. Buffer this click, so you line yourself up as early as you can for these orbs. This bitch-ass pink orb kind of sucks. You'll hit this blue orb is pretty free, but then this orb, a lot of the time, you'll like scrape the hitbox of this pink orb and hit that instead. My tip for that, hit this orb kind of in the middle. The issue is if you hit it too late, you'll die to this spike, which moves down a bit more than it is right now. So yeah, I was fortunate enough to not die to these clicks specifically from 0, but it's still kind of an awkward part. Practice it, kind of trying to figure it out. It never became 100% consistent for me, but yeah. Kind of just jump off this platform normally, buffer this orb, and then time this black orb. It's not a hard timing. Yeah, you can buffer this orb even though you're like coming super early. I buffered off the black orb to hit this platform. That was the most consistent for me, and then buffering this yellow orb always lined you up. even though it looks jank as hell. Yeah. I guess what you could do is hit the black orb, wait, and then jump off the edge of this platform, but I found that way harder, and I found it 100% consistent anyway. Yeah. Hit the pink orb in there. This blue orb, you don't have to time it off of this jump or off of this block. You can just kind of hit it pretty much anywhere and hold for a tiny bit and you'll be fine. And this green orb isn't really a timing, and this black orb is literally free. You'd have to be a bitch-ass idiot to die there from 0, but yeah. Hit these 2 orbs, pretty easy. This pink orb is also easy, and then you get to this stupid fucking part. This is probably my least favorite 3 clicks in the level coming up. You want to jump off this platform on the later end, so you at least definitely don't die here, but also so you can like get to this green orb as late as possible, because you want to hit this green orb so comically fucking late. I died here twice from 0. The issue is, if you hit this like anywhere earlier than the last fucking frame, you'll hit this green orb and then die to some tiny ass hitbox connected to this ground spike. So yeah, hit this stupidly late like that. And then this blue orb, you can't just buffer that, because even if you make it to this platform, what you want to do is hold off this blue orb and then hold to jump here. If you do it too early though, you'll jump off here and then die to this spike. I wouldn't recommend like just hitting this blue orb and then clicking here separately, because that's even more awkward. I'd say just hit this blue orb like later, like once you're like halfway past it, or not, and just pray. But yeah, just don't buffer that. Hit it like decently late, and you should make it through here. You can kind of just hit this yellow orb, no real timing. Hit this green orb, and then there's a jump that you have to do in there. They really pissed me off when I was like starting to learn this part, because like it's not really connected to like a main beat in the song, but there is music sync there, and it becomes 100% consistent. There's no way to like actually fuck up the timing by like hitting it too early or something. As long as you click, you'll live. So you just have to remember to click, which isn't gonna be hard. It's not gonna be hard to remember that this is there at 86%. If you're not locked in at this point, then you kind of deserve to die. But yeah. And then there's another invisible transition to this red orb. It syncs with the music a lot more clearly than the last click, and the last click wasn't even that bad, but this click is even more clear. These 4 clicks are pretty much just with the music perfectly. There's no actual timing there. And then it's all the way to the last triple spike. It's just a triple. There's no real like tip I can give. Obviously you can't like just buffer off of this, which would be really nice, but you can't do that. Just do it as a triple. It syncs with the music, but I wouldn't like entirely depend on that. It's a fucking triple. These are in Time Machine, but they're still impossible. So yeah, just good luck on that, kind of. I can't give any crazy tip. That's all that I have for the guide. On to the completion. Let's go. Oh my god. That is a good level. I fucking love that. Please, play this. Please. Please! Such a good goddamn level. Yes! Oh my god. So some lore dump that you probably know, because I mentioned it in every fucking video I ever make. So, you know New Record, the fucking ClickSync level that got 10 million views on the layout? I played that, like, 2 Extreme Demons ago, and, great level, but I did not have a good experience. I ended up giving it, like, a 2 out of 10 enjoyment, which is, like, tragic considering how good the level is, and obviously I'm playing this. I love ClickSync, so that sucked. And it was only, like, 3 parts that I really didn't like. One of those I really, really didn't like. Worst part in the fucking game. So yeah, I was a bit worried this level would play out the same because it's also ClickSync, but thankfully this is so fucking consistent. So consistent. I died to the last cube 4 times. Twice to the fucking shit-ass bullshit waterboard testicular torsion period cramp ass green orb click. But I still had a really fun time, because guess what? You die there, you just play the level again, and you get there within like 10 attempts, because it's so consistent. It's, yes! Awesome! So yeah, that's why I'm making a guide to this, so you guys can hopefully play this too. Really good. If you didn't like New Record like I did, you have a good chance of liking this more, because I did. If you, like, love New Record, obviously play this too. It's like the same exact skill set. It's probably about, I found it about maybe Aftermath difficulty. I think it's like that or a bit harder because not everyone has the ClickSync stupid skill set. But yeah, really awesome level, really good. I was gonna say something else, but I can't remember. Oh yeah, it's really good for its time. I mean, I know the level actually like came out like a year ago, but the gameplay was made in like fucking 2019, which is like insane considering like 2019 was still like mid 2.1, early-ish 2.1, where people really weren't that experienced with like 2.1 gameplay. I mean, like, they were experienced, but not nearly to the level of 7 years with the same fucking update. But this level easily holds up as like a level that could have come out like yesterday. So yeah, really glad I did that. I beat that pretty fast, I'd say. It only took 3 days, and yesterday I was fucking around at my friend's house for like half of it. So yeah, good shit. That's about it. I'm gonna end it there. I usually like yap a fuck ton at the end of my videos. I'm gonna try to not do that this time. I know this video is probably gonna be like 30 to 40 minutes long anyway. So I'm gonna spare you from my bullshit. All right, see ya. Goodbye.